Have you ever looked at the ocean and marveled at its deep, vibrant blue? What if I told you that color is fading? That our planet's oceans are literally losing their color? This isn't science fiction. It's a stark reality scientists are tracking right now. Stick with me, because what's happening beneath the waves is a silent alarm for our entire planet. For decades, we've taken the brilliant blues and greens of the ocean for granted. But recent studies are revealing a shocking trend. Scientists, using decades of satellite data from missions like NASA's Aqua satellite, have been meticulously monitoring the color of the ocean's surface. They've built a comprehensive color spectrum of our global seas, and the data is undeniable. Over the past 20 years, more than 56% of the world's oceans have undergone a significant color shift. The change is subtle to the naked eye for now, but for scientific instruments, it's a massive flashing red light. The most profound changes are happening in the tropical and subtropical regions, vast expanses of our planet's lifeblood. The deep, rich blues are becoming paler, and in some areas, shifting towards a murkier green. This isn't just about aesthetics. It's a direct indicator of a fundamental change in the ocean's ecosystem. So, what's causing this global fade? The primary culprits are microscopic organisms called phytoplankton. These are the unsung heroes of our planet. They form the very base of the marine food web, meaning everything from tiny krill to the largest whales depends on them for survival. But they do something even more crucial. They produce more than half of the oxygen we breathe. Yes, you heard that right. Every other breath you take comes from the ocean, thanks to these tiny powerhouses. Phytoplankton contain chlorophyll, the same pigment that makes plants on land green. It's this chlorophyll that absorbs blue light and reflects green light, giving the ocean its characteristic color. When phytoplankton populations are healthy and abundant, the water appears greener. When they are scarce, the water looks bluer, like a sterile desert. The color change we're observing is a direct reflection of what's happening to these phytoplankton communities. As our planet warms due to climate change, the ocean's surface layers are heating up. This warming creates a more stratified ocean, like oil and water. A warm layer sits on top of the colder, nutrient-rich deep water, preventing them from mixing. Phytoplankton live in the sunlit surface layer, but they need the nutrients from the deep to thrive. With this stratification cutting off their food supply, their populations are struggling to survive in many parts of the ocean. Fewer phytoplankton means less chlorophyll, and that means the ocean's color shifts. It becomes a clearer, more intense blue, but it's the blue of a biological desert. This isn't just a theory. We're seeing the devastating consequences in real time. Think about the world's magnificent coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea. They are bleaching at an unprecedented rate. Those vibrant colors you see in documentaries? They come from tiny algae living within the coral tissue. As ocean temperatures rise, corals get stressed and expel these algae, leaving behind a ghostly white skeleton. It's a direct visual parallel to the invisible crisis happening with phytoplankton. A bleached coral is a starving coral. A bluer ocean is a starving ocean. The loss of color is a sign of life ebbing away. The cascading effects are terrifying to consider. If the base of the food web collapses, what happens to the fish we eat? What happens to the millions of people who depend on the ocean for their livelihood? The entire marine ecosystem, a complex web of life built over millennia, is being destabilized. Species that are adapted to specific phytoplankton types will struggle to find food. This will send shockwaves up the food chain, affecting everything from sea turtles and dolphins to sharks and seabirds. The ocean's ability to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, another vital service provided by phytoplankton through photosynthesis, will also weaken. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. A warmer planet leads to fewer phytoplankton, which leads to less carbon absorption, which in turn leads to an even warmer planet. We are tampering with the planet's primary life support system. The scientific community is in agreement. The models that predicted this change years ago are now being validated by real-world observations. Laboratory experiments confirm that changes in temperature and nutrient levels directly impact the type and quantity of phytoplankton, which in turn changes the color of the water. We are seeing a global scale experiment play out, and the results are coming in faster and more dramatically than anyone expected. The shift isn't uniform. Some areas might even become greener, as different, perhaps less beneficial species of phytoplankton take over. But the overall trend points towards a massive disruption. We are pushing the ocean's ecosystem into a new and likely much less productive state. What does the future hold if this trend continues? Projections for the year 2100 paint a grim picture. Imagine looking at a satellite image of Earth, but the oceans are a pale, washed-out version of their former selves. The vibrant bands of green that trace coastlines and ocean currents have thinned or vanished. The deep, royal blue of the open ocean has been replaced by a less vibrant, almost grayish hue. It would be a visual representation of a planet in poor health. This isn't just about losing a beautiful view. It's about a world with less oxygen, less food from the sea, and a more chaotic climate. It's a future where the rhythmic pulse of the ocean, which has sustained life for eons, has grown faint. This is not a distant problem for future generations. It is happening on our watch. The evidence is clear, from satellite data points in space to the microscopic life in a drop of seawater. The ocean is sending us a message, written in the very color of its water. It's a warning that the balance is tipping, and the consequences of our inaction will be felt by every living thing on this planet. The fading color of our oceans is one of the most profound and visible symptoms of the climate crisis. It's a call to action that we can no longer afford to ignore. We need to understand this is not just an environmental issue. It is a fundamental threat to our survival. What we do in the next decade will determine the color and the health of our oceans for centuries to come. The solution lies in tackling the root cause, climate change. We must transition away from fossil fuels, protect and restore marine habitats, and embrace sustainable practices in all aspects of our lives. The ocean has an incredible capacity for resilience, but it is not infinite. We are at a critical juncture. Will we be the generation that stood by and watched the world's oceans turn to gray? Or will we be the one that fought to bring the color back? The fate of the blue planet is in our hands. Thank you for watching. If you want to stay informed about the critical issues facing our planet, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the science that shapes our world.